Hello there, I am Sindani Kennedy. I welcome you to the Chemistry Practical Guide, which you are going to handle precisely this season. Stay tuned. Do not forget to subscribe below to get more videos on the same. Welcome. Let's begin. In chemistry. Chemistry Practical begins from Form 1 and it runs through Form 4. And the things that we are introduced to in Form 1 are the laboratory apparatus, the apparatus that we use in the laboratory. That one just implies that chemistry is a practical subject, and actually we have to expect practical. Practical carries 40 marks. And if you get practical, everything in practical be sure of an A. And the specific objectives of chemistry practical are to test if we as students are able to select and handle apparatus for use in the chemistry in the chemistry experiment or the experimental work. Is to test if we are able to select and handle apparatus for use in an experimental work. And another objective is to test if, as students, we are able to use our theoretical understanding of chemistry to make accurate observations and draw conclusions from those observations. Because in chemistry, we shall be using a lot of observations and conclusions. That one you see it in inferences, in observations and inferences. In the quality now, it also tests the student if he or she is able to make accurate measurements. Is to test whether we are able to make accurate measurements. And the areas commonly tested in chemistry practicals are qualitative analysis. That is number one, are qualitative analysis. And qualitative analysis deals with both organic analysis and inorganic analysis. And then we shall look at that. And then we have got quantitative analysis in chemistry practical. And number three, we have got the graphical work. Graphical work, there are things like temperature changes. We use graphs or the enthalpy changes, which will be introduced to in Form 4 if you have not yet done it. Okay. So qualitative analysis refers to the process of carrying out chemical tests on substances with the sole aim of identifying them. If we test them. Now, for us to be able to get good results in chemistry practicals, number one, we need to accurately identify the test reagents. Accurately identify the test reagents. And I'm going to introduce to you the test reagents and what they test, okay? So that at one point or the other, when you meet those reagents in the chemistry practicals, you will not be startled by them. You will be able to recognize these reagents, okay? And you will be able to predict what they want to test, and you can comfortably carry out the testing and give the conclusions of the tests that you give. And then identify what these reagents test. Okay, for us to get good results, we have to identify what these reagents test. Then number three is to predict the expected results. Now, in the inorganic testing, we have got the test for cations, and there are 12 cations which are involved. There are 12 cations involved in the inorganic testing. And the cations that will be tested to test are sodium ions, potassium ions, ammonium ions, calcium 2 ions, barium 2 ions, magnesium 2 ions, aluminium 3 ions, zinc 2 ions, lead 2 ions, copper 2 ions, iron 2 ions, and iron 3 ions. Those are the 12 cations involved in the test of cations in the inorganic testing. Now, when you have been given a reagent named sodium hydroxide, they will write on the bottle NaOH, sodium hydroxide, and they will give you the statements to follow. They will tell you to add sodium hydroxide to solution B until in excess, or solution X, okay? Meaning the X or the B that do not represent the actual symbols of the elements, isn't it? So if you have been given sodium hydroxide, they will mention that, and then you will be given as another solution for you to be able to identify what it contains, okay? So they will tell you add sodium hydroxide dropwise until in excess, and then you will be given observation and inferences. Now, in the observation, if you see a white precipitate which is soluble in excess, you will write white precipitate soluble in excess. And if you see a white precipitate which is soluble in excess, that means there will be 3 cations present. And the 3 cations present are zinc 2 ions, aluminium 3 ions, and lead 2 ions. That is ZAP. ZAP is the easy word to catch, isn't it? Yeah, white precipitate soluble in excess of sodium hydroxide, that is ZAP present, zinc, aluminium, and lead. And then, if you see white precipitate insoluble in excess, that is the ones that will be present will be 2. That is magnesium and calcium. Magnesium and calcium. So if you are beginning with calcium and magnesium, you just write CAM with capital C, small a, and then capital M. Are you seeing that? CAM. So magnesium and calcium. Okay? Those ones are the ones that are insoluble in excess of sodium hydroxide. Then, if you do not see any white precipitate, that means that the ones that we have mentioned above are not present, or they are absent, okay? Yeah, they are absent. Or the ones that may be present are sodium, potassium, and ammonium, okay? If you do not see any color change when we add sodium hydroxide dropwise until in excess, then these ones are the easily recognized due to their specific colors. The following, we have got copper, iron 2, and iron 3. Copper, iron 2, and iron 3. They are the ones that give specific colors, okay? Copper will give us a blue precipitate which is insoluble in excess of sodium hydroxide, okay? So when you see a blue precipitate, do not think very many things. That one will be copper 2 ions present, okay? And then the other one, if you see a green precipitate, you see a green precipitate insoluble in excess, that one will be iron 2 ions present, okay? Green precipitate implies that there will be presence of iron 2 ions. Then if you see a brown precipitate insoluble in excess of sodium hydroxide, okay? Brown precipitate insoluble in excess, that will be iron 3 ions present, okay? Iron 3 ions present. Now, you have seen the change in colors, isn't it? When we add sodium hydroxide solution, isn't it? That is the reagent that is used to test those elements. And then, what if you are given another reagent? You'll be told addition of aqueous ammonia dropwise until in excess. Add aqueous ammonia dropwise until in excess. If it is soluble in excess, that will be zinc 2 ions. Okay. And then if you see a white precipitate and it is insoluble in excess of aqueous ammonia, that means there will be presence of iron lead 2 ions and magnesium 2 ions. Okay, that one will be MAP. Say MAP. MAP is magnesium, lead, and aluminium. Okay, and then if you do not see any white precipitate, that means that there will be absence of those things that we have mentioned above. Okay, yeah, zinc, aluminium, lead, magnesium are absent. But the things that do not have any color change, if you do not see any white precipitate, there may be presence of sodium, potassium, and calcium. Okay, yeah. Then the ones that we easily recognize, the ones which have got definite colors, so that is copper, ion 2 and ion 3. If you see a green a light blue precipitate soluble in excess to give a deep blue solution, there will be presence of copper 2 ions. Okay, light blue precipitate soluble in excess to give a deep blue solution, that one will be copper 2 ions. Okay, we are using ammonia reagent. Okay, so if you see a green precipitate insoluble in excess, what will be the inference? Green precipitate, yes, very good. That is ion 2 ions present. If you see a brown precipitate, very good. If you see a brown precipitate, there will be ion 3 ions present. And then those are the things that are used in the testing of cations. Okay, those are all the cations tested. You see, they are just easy. Okay, if you know the reagent and you know what the reagent tests, then you can be able to state the observation and the inferences just comfortably. Sawa sawa. Yeah, so on how to answer those questions or how to carry out the tests never turns in the examination. We shall try to see on how we can calculate the moles. I know that calculation will be a bit technical, but I shall look at that one later. I shall see on how to do that. Okay. Yes. Do not forget to subscribe on the link below and get more videos.